To the pandemic now, we are just 2 days away from a key FDA panel meeting on the question of COVID vaccinations for children 5 to 11 years old. The CDC set to weigh in as well, and that's where ABC's Elwin Lopez joins us from this morning in Atlanta. Elwin, good morning to you.
Hey, Wick, good morning. The CDC says it may update its definition of what it means to be fully vaccinated. This as more Americans become eligible to get that added dose of protection. Boosters of Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J now have the all clear to go into the arms of 70 million people. And now with the added flexibility of being able to mix and match those vaccines. But health experts continue to reiterate that the way out of this pandemic is to get the unvaccinated that first shot. And young children might be just weeks away from getting theirs. FDA advisors are set to meet on Tuesday to review Pfizer's new trial data. At 1/3 of the adult dose, the drug maker claims the vaccine is nearly 91% effective against symptomatic COVID in kids 5 to 11 with no reported cases of myocarditis, a rare type of heart inflammation. Now, health experts say if the timeline goes as scheduled, we could see children as young as 5 vaccinated as we head into the holidays. Stephanie.
Joining us now is ABC News medical contributor Dr. John Brownstein, also the Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Hospital. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us. What will that FDA advisory panel be looking at this week as it considers giving the Pfizer shot the green light for younger children?
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. The panel is likely to look at the benefits and the risks around this vaccine and likely to show that these benefits far outweigh the risks, right? We recognize that these vaccines can dramatically reduce the chances a child will be infected. And we're seeing antibody titers, immune response very similar to the older age groups. And so what we've seen with new data, that 91% effectiveness against symptomatic illness in kids means that, these vaccines are going to be incredibly important at protecting kids, reducing hospitalizations, and in fact, deaths. So ultimately what we'll see is that these vaccines are safe and effective and likely to be authorized.
As a mom of 2 young children, what are the risks for kids getting the vaccine?
I have 2 young kids as well. And, what we're seeing from the data is that there's really no serious adverse events that were found. I mean, you see the typical symptoms like pain at injection site, fatigue and headache, but ultimately nothing serious. And I know there was a conversation about the linkage to rare myocarditis. In fact, the studies, which were even expanded, didn't identify any of those cases. And ultimately what we saw is actually the younger age group had less severe side effects than even the older kids. That's probably because it's a smaller dose. So ultimately, very safe vaccines.
What is your message to parents who might be on the fence about taking a younger child in for a vaccination once it is authorized?
Well, the risk calculation for kids is different, of course, and vaccine confidence goes down as you go into younger age groups. I recognize this, of course, as a parent, but we have to stress that these vaccines are the most studied vaccines ever produced.
So what about the timeline? So if Pfizer gets the approval, how soon will these 5 to 11-year-olds be immunized?
Right. So we have the FDA meetings next week. Following that, we have a CDC, the ACIP committee that's going to meet, and that will take place on the 2nd and 3rd of November. And likely, if it all goes to plan, we'll likely start seeing first shots in arms of kids on November 4th. Remember, it's going to take 5 weeks for kids to get fully vaccinated, so not in time for Thanksgiving, but in time for Christmas, we may see, our 5 to 11-year-olds immunized and fully protected against COVID.
We're following the science right there with you, Doctor. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.